Carmen Auciello joining me, Chad Rozema, on this Saturday edition of Woodbine Racing Live. Thanks for joining, bud.
Anytime.
Did you get to see? I know you weren't here last night. Did you get to see any of that action last night?
I did. I watched most of the races and then kind of recapped them this morning. That filly of Jim Ritchie's, I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Powerful Chris was amazing again and didn't look like she was fully extended, but holy cow, 25-2 from 10th to 1st.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And you and I were talking off camera. That first half was slow, 57, 56-3 in the back of it. You're not supposed to close your back there, especially a first-time starter.
Exactly, and I don't care what class of horse you are, 25-2 from 10th to 1st at this track, just you don't see it every day.
Yeah.
And you know, I've got some nice horses in the barn that wouldn't do that, so it was nice to see anyway.
I saw Jim Ritchie earlier tonight. He's still beaming. Phone ringing off the hook. I bet. Understandably so. And interesting, both fillies, as impressive they've been, they're not really staked to anything.
No, no.
Which, as you said to me too, that could be a good thing for the 3-0 campaign, because now you're only going to have a handful of starts.
For sure. If they plan to keep the horse, it's nice. They can still make a decent chunk of change and then have a fresh horse for next year. If it's something that they're looking to sell, it does hurt their value a little bit, but I don't know if I'd be selling either of those two if I own them or train them. So.
Yeah. I'm sure you've been in that situation in the past. It could be awfully tempting. Kenny was talking right off the bat, and I know you've already been on social media talking about it. It's National Caretaker Appreciation Day, and I know how important the caretakers are to you, and you've got fantastic caretakers, and you're one of the trainers that when we're out here talking to guys, you seem to be able to have a constant. You get to keep these caretakers. They stick around with you.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Loyalty goes a long way in this business, not only with caretakers, with owners and trainers. And, I try to, treat them as I would like to be treated. And, hey, we all started out as caretakers and grooms. Yeah. And none of us in my position would be where we are today without them. So thank you, all you guys that work for me and all my friends in the business. It's much appreciated.
And just how important, are they to you for your success?
Words cannot describe. Like, you figure I've got about 60 horses in training right now in 2 different countries, and I can't possibly, feel them and look them over every day, right? And you have to rely on your staff and the experience that they have and the dedication and the hard work that they put into their job. And it's, words can't describe what they mean to me.
There's got to be a lot of trust on your end too, right?
Big time, for sure.
Yeah, especially with, as you mentioned, you've got a string in the States. This is now your 6th year where you've been sending out quite a few starters. Who's your big name down there?
Kristen and Frank Calcagni. Actually, they're married now, and they work for me every day and run the show, and they've done a great job. And again, like they're like family to me now, and take care of everything. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, and that's 60 horses, as you mentioned. That's between both operations.
Between both,
so busy, a lot for you to do, that's for sure. I know you're going to have a busy night tonight. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But I just want to talk about how things have been going, because if you go back to Woodbine when we wrapped up our final meet in Rexdale, obviously, based on volume, you're right near the top of the standings. Moreau, as we knew, just kind of ran away with it. But you were batting 8%. Mm-hmm. Now you come here to Mohawk, and not only are you leading the standings through the first several months, you've doubled your win percentage to 16, and it's not like it's a close race. You've cut yourself a nice little cushion here. How have you been able to do this?
You know what? The biggest thing is better horses. We went out and we bought horses like Physically Inclined and Gin Shark, and some of my old campaigners that didn't have the best winter have really stepped it up, like Free Willy Hanover and Exhilarated, and you know what I mean? I race horses every week. At the end of the year, I love seeing 45 starts on their card. That just shows me that they're sound and they're healthy, and you know what? They're not at the top of their game every week. Yeah. But if you average it over the course of the year, they're making money every start, and that's what the owners need. I mean, we need owners that can have horses that constantly make money, and that's what I tried to give them. Okay.
Well, let's talk about your busy night. I say busy, but this is just a normal Saturday for you, right? 8 starters. We'll have a look. Let's have a look at who you've got going out here tonight. Your first one's going to come up in race 2. So here's a look, Carm. JD, of course, your main man. He's going to drive all but one Avalanche Hanover Randy Waples aboard. But scattered right through 2 to 11, you've got a mix of some claimers, some overnighters, some preferred horses. mixed into here as well. I want to kind of focus in on a couple just to bring back some replays. Now, first off, that first one, your first starter tonight, Deep Fave Hanover. And I'm sure after that performance, when you had him off the claim, you thought, oh, geez. Was it an instance where it was like, I didn't know he was this good?
I couldn't believe it.
Because, I mean, not often do you claim a horse and then claim him back for a higher price.
Yeah. So basically the reason I claimed him back is he only has 70,000-ish made. And I knew that we had an option of this non-winners of 7 or 100,000 life class.
Yeah.
And I figured if he's good enough, he can make back the next 30,000 without having to tag him. And then we can see what we have. The same thing kind of happened with Big Bang Boom. We got lucky not to lose him. Yeah, we got lucky not to lose him for 14 and then 18. And then he still fit these conditions because he was good enough. And he was able to make some more money without having to risk losing him. So that kind of went into claiming back Deep Fave. I convinced Frank Brundle that, hey, he can go 50. And that class goes in 50, so let's take him back and see what happens.
Well, this is the performance, and I mean, it's tough to gauge how fast the track was playing this night. He was by far the fastest, but it was a trot-heavy program.
Sure.
But still, I mean, I don't think it was a night where, if it were a lot of pacers like him, they were going to go these kind of miles here.
No, the fact that he won by 5 and he beat consistent 51 pacers by 5 lengths, so that I think it was a true 50-mile. Now, tonight he's facing horses that can all go in 49 or 50. So I'm not as confident in him tonight. But again, I just wanted him in this class because he can make another 30 or 40,000 in here without having to be classified. So that was the plan. Anyway.
Can he win though? I've got him on top.
Well, he can win. Actually, you know what? We brought him here Tuesday and trained him and Physically Inclined together in 53, and they were both great. And he's ready. And I mean, I think he can win, but there's some nice horses in there.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a totally different class, class of horses
for sure
that you've got in there. Another one I want to talk about, race number 9. This is the on-track feature. It's the preferred pace. Well, first off, you've got Nick Wickett in here.
Yeah.
Coming in off that huge win. Interesting. He's got the rail. I thought maybe it'd be a handicap.
Like he needs it, but
with this, you're actually on the outside with Physically Inclined, but this year, you've been able to win Filly Mare Preferreds and now Preferreds with the boys, including this guy. That's his first preferred win last time out.
It was, yeah, and just a super nice horse. I mean, he's actually lightly raced for a 6-year-old. We begged Richard Moreau to sell him. He stole one in an optional 45 claimer once, about 4 months ago. Yeah. And nobody claimed him. And I kept asking him, when are you putting him back in a claimer? I want to claim him. So he didn't, and we ended up buying him privately, but just a super nice horse.
He's put away about 65 for you guys since you got him?
Yeah, I think so. We've had about
around there?
12 starts. So he's basically paid for himself, and now we've got ourselves a nice racehorse.
And, I mean, let's go back to when he won here. He set up well for him. There was some early pace, some of the heavyweights were kind of battling. And he was able to feast on that and close up and win in 50 and 2. He's got that versatility, but is there one way that he's better at?
I don't think it really matters with him. He's just a horse that it takes him about 1/8 of a mile to get going. And halfway down the lane, right here, I still think he's going to be 4th. Yeah. And then the more you work on him, he keeps coming. And probably the fastest point of his mile was about 100 yards past the wire, and he's going by everybody. He's just one of those horses. He's a stud. I'm not going to say he's lazy, but he makes you, work on him and makes you work for your money anyway. And
is JD a guy that just gets along with him?
JD gets along with most of my horses, and the fact that he comes in here, I posted on Facebook, he trained him with me on Tuesday, and he was bathing him after the mile.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that was him.
You know what I mean? He loves his job, and I think he's appreciative for the opportunities that I give him. Yeah. And I show him loyalty back, and that's a big part of the business as far as I'm concerned.
Nice to get a guy from the driver corner that can kind of commit to you too, right?
For sure, most of the time. And when it comes to stake races, and he drives some nice young horses for Blake and Casey and Tony Beaton, and I'm not going to get in the way of him furthering his career. We've said that right from the start. If you have an opportunity to drive a better horse, do it. Yeah. I can't guarantee that your drive will be back next week, but you know what? You'll get back on eventually. Jody Jameson was driving Exhilarated for me for quite a while, but eventually he booked off to drive somebody else, and JD gets to drive back. So that's the way it goes.
With McWicked, arguably the top holder pacer in North America right now. Sure, yeah. Back in the preferred here, realistically, what are you happy with a finish with Physically Inclined tonight?
Second by, within a length. No,
okay.
Just kidding. You know what? I don't know how the race is going to play out. McWicked is never usually on the front.
Yeah.
Physically Inclined has gate speed, but so does Nirvana Sealster, so does Red John. Is it going to be wise to bust him out of there and try to make the front? I don't know. I'm going to leave it up to JD. I'm not even going to say a word. So, and that's what I did last week, and he won. So I don't usually have to give him instructions when we're going out there. He knows what he has in front of him, and he'll just try to work out the best trip that he can. All
right, let's turn the page. We'll go to race number 10 in here. Gin Shark, much better spot for him tonight. Maybe it's a deeper group, but at least he doesn't have the 10 hole, and I was quite impressed with the way he performed. He took a lot of air last week.
He did, yep. Actually, Chris Christoforou texted me right after the race saying how much of a pleasure he was to drive. He's just a true racehorse, you know what I mean? Just a true gentleman.
This is another one you bought privately, wasn't it?
Bought him privately, yeah. A few months ago. I think we've had 11 starts with him, and he's basically paid for himself, but just a nice older horse. I think he has a mark of 49 or something, and paced him 48 many times. So, I mean, horses like that, you just have to keep them sound and keep them happy, and they take care of me. I don't have to take care of them, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's not like I made him do what he's done. He's just a nice animal. And most horses don't have the ability that he has, but yeah, he has it.
Dream Fair BJ's out of this race, so there's 8 of them in here. You got to feel pretty good about your chances with this guy, don't you?
I feel really good, yeah. There's a couple that, that lately have been really good, like Velocity Driven, Regal Sun, but, he's got as good a shot as any, I think.
Yeah, well, the post certainly helps. He hasn't been too lucky in the post draws in recent weeks.
For sure.
You've got a new recruit on the card tonight, HP Pandora. That's in the 8th races. We kind of go backwards a little bit. I don't have a replay for her.
Okay.
She hasn't raced since July, some time away, getting on the Lasix program. That's required. How long have you had her?
I've had her that night that she raced for
July
Jody
3rd?
and Steph. We brought her home that night.
Okay.
Bought her right after the race, brought her home, scoped her that night. She showed bleeding and put her on Lasix. She's schooled twice on Lasix. She's been good. Mm-hmm. Schoolers can be tough because it depends who you're in with. A lot of the time they go really slow to the half and sprint home. So, but I'm really happy with her so far. And
I've always I've heard from other horsemen that, when you do get a horse on a Lasix, kind of important if you can school them on Lasix.
For sure,
because it gets that mindset back that, hey, I am going to be okay now going into that race.
Yep, and a lot of it too is when you give them Lasix, you're essentially dehydrating them.
Yeah.
And it helps them a lot, but it's also a different feeling for them, and they need to get used to racing kind of feeling that way. So I always at least school them once and train them once on it. She's been schooled twice on it, and really happy with her.
All right, let's have a look back at the starters again, just a recap of the 8 that you're going to send out here tonight. And I want you to maybe, if I'm a betting man or the betting people out there, who's your best chances tonight?
If I had to pick one, I would say Exhilarated.
Okay, Exhilarated's your best.
That's
in the
my
4th.
girl, yeah. She's down another class from last week. There's actually a couple
She's
horses.
done well at that level, too.
Yeah, and I think she's always been either first or second at that level. I think there's a horse in there tonight that did beat her last week, but she's just every week. I mean, what did she race last year? 49 times? Yeah. She's on pace for 48 this year or something. Like, she just comes to play every week. Yeah. You can't win every week. She's already got, I think, 6 wins this year. If she ends the year with 10, I'm doing well, and I think she gives her bettors a really good chance every week that she goes behind the gate. So she's probably my best bet of the night if I had to pick one.
Okay. Do you have a price play for us?
Price play would probably be either Deep Fave Hanover in the first or Avalanche Hanover.
Avalanche.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I made a bridle change tonight. He kind of lost interest last week down the lane when that horse got away from him, and he got beat for second when I didn't think he should have.
Okay.
So we went blind to blinkers. Maybe he can see a little bit more. We're going to try to be aggressive again with him, and hopefully that change can spark him up a little bit. It doesn't always, but it did help Gin Shark when I made that change. It helped Physically Inclined when I made that same change. So a lot of horses will respond, at least temporarily, to a change like that.
Maybe a quick comment on last weekend. You're always looking for horses, and Tattersalls mixed out the Meadowlands last weekend. Mm-hmm. You lost a couple, but you also brought some home with you. You picked up 4, I believe. Joe Sixpack, a Farm Boy Success, always a hotshot that we're familiar with. He raced here, and Peel, Idaho. Are they all coming back here, or some going to stay in the States?
The two younger horses are going to stay in the States. Those classes at Yonkers are really good. Now,
yeah,
one's a 2, 4, 6. The money isn't even that much more than here, but they both look like good half-mile horses, and they're going to stay there. The older horses are going to come here. So always a hot shot, and PL Idaho are going to come here, and they should hopefully both be in here next weekend.
Okay. One final thing I'm going to leave you with. If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
I'd be lead singer for...
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. For who?
I don't know. It would be, I'd have to take offers, obviously, and go through the proposal. No, just kidding. You know what? We had a little band, a buddy of mine.
He's got a great voice. I don't know if you follow him on Facebook or not, but you've got quite a few videos of you singing.
Yeah, quite a few. There's that Smule karaoke app that I use regularly and post videos on there. And you know what? People keep telling me, post more, so I'll do it. I mean, as soon as they start saying, shut up, you're terrible, then I'll probably stop posting them. But people like listening to me, and I love singing, so I'll keep doing it.
Is there any truth to the fact that your assistant Casey Hoother taught you how to sing?
That's actually, no, just kidding. He's usually telling me to shut up on the way here, on the way home, and turns the radio louder so he can't hear me. But no, you know what? I enjoy it. If I could make, there might have been some other, PGA Tour pro or an NHL goaltender or something. But we got to be realistic here. So. Can I make a career in music? Probably not. It's tough. I've got some friends that are very, very good, and they've struggled to, they have to have side jobs, full-time jobs, and then do it on the side, right? And with a wife and 2 kids and a family, it's a tough thing to keep going.
Well, you're doing pretty well at what you do here. So keep it up. Thanks for stopping by, my man.
Thanks very much.
Good luck tonight. Carmen Auciello, busy man, 8 starters tonight. We'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll get into our regularly scheduled Woodbine Racing Live.